I'm Neil, and to introduce myself, I thought I'd introduce my gear, because it's always fun to see those little what's in your bag things, and I'm probably not as interesting as a person to you as a photographer, so let me give it a shot here. With my Lowepro CompuTrekker Plus bag that I carry with me, it has wheels, but it also has backpack straps, so I can quickly throw it on my shoulder, go upstairs, carry it across, stuff that doesn't roll, and from there throw it on the ground and roll it wherever need be. So inside, let's just start with what's in the upper flap and work our way down. In case it rains, I always like to have an umbrella. It's just barely big enough, but that's okay because the backpack has this waterproof cover on it, so I'm okay with just the small umbrella to keep my head and shoulders dry. And also you can use a flash in it. I found somebody told me about that, so I thought it was a great idea. And in order to make that go off well, I use this little clamp doohickey. This one is made by Photoflex. Manfrotto makes a nice one too. On top is a PocketWizard adapter, so I can pop my flash on there. Let me just leave that for when it all gets put together. Inside here is my stand. This one is a Manfrotto 3350. It's called a baby kit stand, and it is baby sized, but it fits in your pack, so that's nice. Totally extended, it'll get up to chair height, which you're going to see here in a second. But for most portraits that I do, I can find an environmental object to set something on, and this will cover almost the head height, so if I'm just doing a headshot I can just sit them down and they'll be all set. I'll grab a 550 here, Canon flash, slide it together, and you know how umbrellas work, unfortunately. Alright, perfect. So there is a quick setup for, an off-camera light while I'm shooting. And I would stick a PocketWizard on there. But anyway, that's a PocketWizard umbrella. The next thing that I pull out from the top, this is a Photoflex light dome, a little bitty one called the Extra Small, but it goes together in half a minute, whatever, 10 seconds, really quick, and it also is the perfect size for portraits. I actually use this in my hand most of the time, so I'll pull out the other 550. It comes with a nice little bracket. Slide the bracket on, and with a broad source like a light box, the closer it is to the subject, the more effective it is. So I generally use this in my hand because you see it's about head sized. So the closer you keep it to the subject's head, the better. And it can quickly impersonate window light. Oftentimes girls don't want to stand in front of the window to get dressed in their wedding dress. And so I can fake a nice quality of light with this little softbox. And using the STE2 transmitter, the Canon little infrared thing, I can keep the the auto exposure using a softbox in close proximity with my subject, and it's really fast to set up, take down, and shoot, because it's all auto exposure. So far, you see that on top here is a bunch of gizmos that I probably don't use every shoot. I mean, but it's great to have. This is a lot of flexibility. You know, between the two, I can do like one off-camera flash and a softbox for, you know, the softbox can be the fill, rim light or kicker from the flash. Easy setup, really fast, and fly on the go. For the rest of the materials in the top, I have a nice hors d'oeuvre plate and a pair of chopsticks. You know, because you really can't eat the hors d'oeuvres off a napkin. So you might as well sit down, prepare a nice little meal for yourself. They're also quite plain, so I generally take some wasabi too. This is great also if you have any sinus issues during the wedding. You can just snort a little and, you know, it'll clear you out. And I prefer actually a little green tea too, for a nice refresher during the you know, a down moment or whatever. They may not have coffee ready for you, but you can usually get a cup of hot water, so a nice green tea refreshment snack on the side. But in all honesty, there is always power bars, Odwalla bars, whatever kind of bars I have in here somewhere. I just feel like if my blood sugar gets low, it's been my experience that my attitude also gets low. So I try to keep fueled and up and a good energy level when I'm shooting. There are some other random light modifiers in here that come and go as my mood. You know, does business cards, which stay in here because I forget to hand them out. A pen and earplugs. Don't you just hate it when you just can't get away from the DJ? And of course, everybody else wants to get away from them too. So the best place to actually stand and take pictures is right in front of the DJ's speakers. Whew. I've been to my fair share of rock concerts. I don't need to lose any more hearing. Let's start inside. My favorite would be the Leatherman. Mine's blue. What color's yours? The camera. This one is the 1D. Right now it has a 24mm lens on it. Generally that's not the case. Generally I work with 1D, Mark II, and a 50 1.4. And this is the camera that's always on me, always with me. I can shoot with or without flash, and the 50 does nearly everything. My other body is a Canon 1DS Mark II, and with the full frame sensor, I usually have the 24mm on there. This is a Sigma 24mm. Its widest aperture is 1.8, so it's pretty fast, but it's still under $400, so it's not like you know, Canon's fancy and expensive version, which maybe I should get since I had the expensive camera. But anyway, the full frame is what I wanted, and my fingers couldn't learn the other buttons on like a 5D, so I was stuck with this one. Alright, let's continue to empty this sucker out. What else? More Pocket Wizards. I have two on camera, and you know, this is the camera bag, and if you really want to get to know me, I suppose you ought to look into my lighting bag, but that's a whole different video. Anyway, and the STE2 is in here, compact flash cards, lighting gels of all sorts, random business cards, a user manual for a 1 series, chapstick, you know, extra camera strap thing. If these break, you're totally off. So, and then some more hot shoe accessories that allow you to screw your flash into pretty much anything. This other one has more Pocket Wizard adapters. It has some of these foamy bounce cards. This is a cord that allows me to plug in my camera to a PC sync into the Pocket Wizard. I will oftentimes use a 550 on top of my camera and run the Pocket Wizard off the side. Stretchy, so it can fit in my belt. I also bring a remote release with me. I like to shoot at like arm's length sometimes, or on a monopod. And little plastic clips. They're helpful, you know, random times. I carry Canon's little cheap plastic shoes for the flashes to sit on. And what else do we have? Alright. So the 24 and 50 are the lenses that I use like almost all day on a wedding shoot. But when I can, if there's not too much action or if it's not too dark, I prefer the 90 tilt shift for sort of my general work on the 1D, because it focuses really close. Let's see, it says half a meter, or no, it says 2 feet. So it'll focus down to about 2 feet, and it tilts and shifts, lets you push the blur and the sharpness around. Totally my favorite lens if things aren't moving too fast, or if it's not too dark. Other than that, the rest of the stuff in here is mostly just toys. As far as lenses go, I have a 135 2.8, the portrait one that has like this soft focus thing. But it's light and relatively fast and small. I have a 15mm Sigma. It's a fisheye. It's a lot of fun when you can dig it. And this one would be my favorite lens if it didn't give me a headache after a few hours of shooting with it. It's a Mamiya 645 lens. It's 55mm. 2.8, but it has handmade bellows, and so it's basically a grown-up lens baby, and it can pretty near give an image circle large enough to give almost infinite depth of field if you have the time to hold it just right in front of the camera, because the only way to get the picture is just hold it in front. So every wobble in your hand becomes movement of the focal plane, and it's pretty difficult, but worthwhile. So I take it with me, use it when I can. Also have a Sigma 70mm 2.8 macro, batteries, and a little focus assist light, or light even if I'm doing portraits. Sometimes it's enough. It's a Sunpack little ready light. It's I don't even know how much light comes out of it. Enough to put a little spot on whatever I need to focus on. So dim, dance floor, or reception, this can help me focus, or even becomes a primary light source if it's dark enough. Here's a little 28mm, another bellows-based lens. This one is even lighter and smaller. It is an LED version of the focus assist light. And that is pretty much it. So, that all came out of my camera bag. Wow. So, the other thing is sort of a camera bag is this belt I use. It generally has in it a digital camera battery, which is a high voltage power for the flashes. It powers two at the same time, so there's two cords coming out of there. And if I need to move around on the dance floor at other times during the day where I don't get a room light or enough light at all, I have to resort to flashes. This helps me to stay on top of things because it'll recycle real fast. And that is all for Neil's camera.